A quick reminder that you can recycle your rounds checker from rock, paper, scissors. Our low number test plan simply needs to allow us to check for an integer. You can use the program planning helper to generate the high number test plan. And for your guess checker, you can use the planning helper, but you will need to add in an extra row for the exit. A quick reminder that using that planning helper is a great idea because it does give you all of the boundary testing that you need. Here's a skeleton for a number checker that we can use. We've got an error statement, we then loop to get the response, and we use try except to check that the response is valid. To make our function flexible, we need to have optional parameters of low, high, and exit code. Our next step is to set up some error messages. Where low is none and high is none means that we haven't specified a low or a high value, in which case we just need an integer. It's possible that low is not none, so we have a lower bound, but we don't have an upper bound, in which case we're looking for something that is more than our low number. And if it's neither of those cases, we can assume that we are guessing between a low and a high number, and our error message reflects that. Inside our loop, we want to ask the user the question and lowercase their answer. If they have put in an exit code as the answer, we want to return that response. Here's a quick challenge. Can you fill in the blurred bits of code so that this function works correctly? Okay, here it is. It's very simple. First, we check if the integer is too low, and if it is, we're going to print an error. Then we can check if it's too high, and we can print in an error. And if it's neither too high nor too low, we can return it. So our next step is to go into the main routine, and I'm just going to collapse this function, and we're going to start calling that integer checker for our various cases. I haven't automated testing this time around, but I have decided to put it in a loop so that I don't need to keep rerunning the program. In this case, we're going to ask for the number of rounds, where enter is for infinite mode. So it needs to be 1 or more, and I've got an exit code of enter. And here's a quick reminder of what our test plan looks like. So I've tested xlii, 0.5, 1, 2, and then enter, where we can see that when I push enter, it finishes. As a challenge, please see if you can correctly call the function for your other cases. One good option is to comment out where you called it for rounds, and then call it again for your next case, which might be a low number only. And in case you're wondering, to call for a low number is very easy. We just need to ask the question. We don't need to specify a low number, a high number, or an exit code. To check for the high number, we need a question, and we need to say the low number needs to be 1 or more, which is what our test plan specified. And of course, to check for the guesses, we need to put in a low number, a high number, and the exit code. And just like before, this time I've looped my code to make testing easier, where if the user pushes XXX, it does break out of the loop. Once you've got a working number checker, you'll want to create the testing screenshots, commit your code, and you can then start to use that number checker in your main program.